These Genshin Impact characters used to be a top-tier unit, but they're now overshadowed by several things. Hey guys, welcome to another video. In today's video we take a look at Genshin Impact 5 outdated units and how they can be viable again. Number 5. Tartaglia. The older the game gets, the more the devs insist on creating more characters that further enhance the quick swap meta. That's a problem for Tartaglia since his elemental skills cooldown can reach up to 45 seconds, which is the highest cooldown in Genshin Impact. He's still a strong DPS that can do his job properly, but not a viable one that can carry Abyss runs anymore, unfortunately. The game already made a few artifacts that tried to push Tartaglia and other Hydro DPS units, but to no good with Tartaglia. So, to make him viable again, the devs could perhaps arrange a new set that works on reducing or resetting elemental skills that last for over 18 seconds to prevent exploitations. It also helps other units that suffer from the same problem like Noelle, Barbara, Chi-Chi, and Yoimiya. Number 4. Klee. Klee was one of the first DPS to grace Genshin's combat. Since there weren't many characters to compete with her, she was doing great. However, with time, players started to find some of her flaws. Not to mention, Hu Tao made an entrance, ending any Pyro DPS career. As a Pyro unit in Genshin Impact, Klee needs melt and vaporize reactions to amplify her damage. However, her Pyro application when she's on the field is so strong that her off-field teammates start triggering the vaporize and melt reactions instead of her. Klee can be viable again as a Pyro DPS when the game introduces a Hydro or Cryo enabler who can match her Pyro application and synergize with her charged attacks. A proper unit who can collect monsters and trap them in one place will also allow Klee to make the most of her short-range charged attacks. Number 3. Physical characters. Physical DPS units in Genshin Impact can't carry their team since they lack reactions that elevate their gameplay. Having only Superconduct to reduce enemies' resistance to physical damage by 40% isn't enough anymore with all the power creeping that's going on. For RYZEN, he suffers from his greediness as he wants to be the only character on the field. In a fast-paced meta gameplay, it's hard to find a team that wants to give all the field time to RYZEN. Players try to fit RYZEN into Hyperbloom or Quicken teams and sneak a Cryo unit that can trigger Superconduct, but the results are always underwhelming unless the team is carried by mega strong 5-star off-field units like Yellen in Genshin Impact. Number 2. Diona. Diona was one of the best for-star supports in Genshin Impact. One of the reasons for her fame was her ability to operate as a healer, shielder, and buffer during combat. However, with time, Charlotte, Layla, and Shenhe debuted and each one of the three is a better healer, shielder, and buffer respectively. This puts Diona in a hard place where there's always a better Genshin Impact Cryo user to pick over her. For Diona to be viable again, Hoyoverse must introduce a new character that benefits from Diona's elemental mastery buff, shielding, and her ability to operate as a battery. That character can also have a long-range combat style, so they can stay within her elemental bursts field. Having such a DPS can make Diona more viable as a 4-star support. Number 1. Venti. Venti was easily one of the best characters in Genshin Impact. He also had an insane energy regeneration buff that helped anyone in his team use their elemental burst more often. Nowadays, Venti is a shell of his former self. The game started releasing more and more heavy monsters that were impossible to control by his elemental burst. His final blow came when Kazuha made his way into the roster with his ability to control heavier monsters and grant his team an amazing buff that's still considered one of the best buffs in Genshin Impact. By having fewer bosses in Abyss and introducing lighter enemies that Venti can carry with his elemental burst, the game can give more viability to his kit. His elemental burst auto-aim has also been a problem since his release, and by fixing it, he can also be picked into more team compositions in Genshin Impact. Thank you guys so much for watching. See you in the next video. Peace.